Hey everybody, I am Katrina from In Cat We Trust, and this time this episode is going to be slightly different because I have two special guests with me, and we're going to be talking about the Dark Knight Trilogy by Christopher Nolan. So first, let me introduce wrestler Korey Konstantine to the bottom over. And then over
make
to
sure I get this in. You know,
yes.
Everybody knows what side I'm on.
And then we have Maximilian, aka Four Eyes, also XVPW's president. What's up, Max?
You merely adopted the darkness of the podcast. I was born by it, molded by it. You did not discover Spotify till I was already a man. What's good, guys? What's good? What's good? I did my best. I did my best with that one.
You were pretty solid. I'll give you that.
I guess we're just gonna drop quotes all throughout.
So, what was your thoughts in regards to how Christopher Nolan decided to introduce this version of Batman to everybody? Because we had like Tim Burton's Batman, and that was a lot different.
Yeah.
Than what we got. And then we had, the animated Batman, and I love the animated Batman, but it was also more grounded to the comics. So how do you guys feel about his introduction to this version of Batman?
I'm about it, man. It's a lot grittier. I think that's what you envision Batman is, especially with all of the tragedy and stuff of the backstory and everything. And if you want to juxtapose it to like the Gotham series. Excuse me, little dog. Sorry. Actually, here, if we're talking about Batman, this is Harley Quinn, actually. So there we go.
Aww.
That's Harley.
Yeah, there we go.
Harley.
Aww.
Hello, Harley.
Right. Get lost. So yeah, I think it's a lot grittier, and I think that's the way that it should be.
I'm 50-50 with it. I'm 50-50 with it, man. I love, I guess, the fact that we love Nolan's verse was he tried to do it more realistic, right? It's like the whole realistic aspect of it, outside of the Tim Burton one where it's more like comic-y, I guess, gothic looking, But I dig the Nolan verse. There's stuff that I didn't like about it, but by far I feel like that was probably the more successful Batman outside of the movies. Because I love the old school, the old school Batman, the ones that we grew up with the animated series and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm 50-50 with it. And I guess we'll talk about it when we discuss about the movies and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's my kind of thoughts too. I did like that it was realistic, even as far as because I did a rewatch for like the last, just to kind of catch up, because I watched it a few times, but I guess it's different when you're looking at it for like how it's different when you're looking to discuss it, so you have to like watch with different eyes. Mm-hmm. So just even when he was like doing his bat suit for the first time, and I thought that was like he legit was just like kind of figuring it out, and I'm like, what, I respect that. You are like Bruce Wayne, but you still really don't know what you're doing just yet. And I like that aspect of him, like even questioning Fox and everything, and the spray painting scene, which I thought was like okay. And I think when he was showing how he did the wings, I forgot what the material was supposed to be called. That was able to like kind of. So I thought that was cool.
I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like I like that.
It was like super realistic, and I do like that it was gritty because that's usually you expect like Superman to be everything more cheerful, and you expect Batman to be like this is more like kind of the worst kind of shitty sometimes. So
I guess my favorite part about anything about the Nolan verse is the Lucius played a big fart. Wow. Right? You're drinking on that. Lucius played a big part in Batman's like story, which I dig a lot of, because I think in the animated series we only saw probably 2 episodes of Lucius Fox, and he introduced a lot of the Batman stuff, like the gadgets and everything. So the fact that he played a big role in this movie made me appreciate the movie more. Like that Lucius played a big part, Alfred played a huge part, but the fact that Lucius was able to handle the Wayne Enterprise and find ways to help out Bruce's, stuff with like the gadgets and everything. That I like that part a lot from Lucius. Shout out to Morgan Freeman, y'all.
Yeah.
He played God.
That's what I was about to say, man. Like, what else do you want?
God played a big part in Batman's life.
I believe actually this is the first time this was any film decided to bring Fox into a Batman. So we knew he existed, but Krista was the first person to bring him onto film. So I thought that was cool. Mm-hmm. What were you guys' thoughts about Scarecrow? Like, we know there's quite a few villains in the first one. You got Falcone, you have Ra's al Ghul, but then you also have Scarecrow. And I liked it was more of a also very realistic approach to it. Like, how at least the animated series, he looked like an actual Scarecrow, and it was right. He came off the pole in The Wizard of Oz and just kind of dropped off and got them. That's kind of the vibe he looked like in the cartoon. And this one was really more of a different approach. So I did like that. So what are you guys' thoughts that he decided to introduce us, which I believe is also the first time we got this villain in film, as being like the first big villain being Scarecrow? I
liked it. I just rewatched that probably the other day. I think I did a lot of what you did, Katrina. It's just went back and just went through all three of them. The realism, maybe it's just me, but I like realism if you can get it in there, especially with this kind of thing. Because if you're gonna pick any superhero, if we're talking right, Batman is probably the most realistic that you're gonna get. Right, it's not outside of the realm of possibility that somebody with a ton of money could get really buff and buy a lot of cool stuff and then help save a city. So I think that whenever you do that and then you're sprinkling in okay, realistically, how would he pull this off? All right, we're going to pump all these chemicals into the water supply and then we're going to evaporate it and try to tear down the city. I loved it. I was all about it. Yeah.
I'm trying to date back 20 or 10 years ago when the movie came out, how I first felt about it. Yeah, I watched a couple of times, but I'm trying to realize that when was the time I felt, Scarecrow?
2010 maybe?
Right? Yeah, so let's see. How did I feel when they announced Scarecrow for the first time?
Actually, it's probably older than that. Maybe 06.
Right? So I think I was digging more the fact that we're actually getting a new Batman, but I guess I wish Scarecrow played more during the end of all of that. We got the horse with the, and I'm give me more of that.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. We didn't get more of that. We were teasing.
He got taken down by a taser,
right? I wanted more Scarecrow with messing with Batman and all that stuff. But
yeah,
I guess it was cool that we got Scarecrow, but I wanted more Scarecrow. Yeah, I guess we got teased about that, in the later movies, when he playing Judge he was the Judge in Dark Knight Rises. That was dope.
He's in the opening scene of Dark Knight too.
Right? Yeah. So I wish we got more of that. I guess more of the budget was on Ra's al Ghul, which is cool, But I feel like if you were to replace that fight scene with Ra's al Ghul with Scarecrow, I would have been more pleased with the what was it? The Batman? No. The Dark Batman Begins. There you go.
Yeah.
I would like Batman Begins more because I wanted more Scarecrow action with the last fight scene. I feel like Batman was not pleased. We got Ross.
But how do you I played all the Arkham Asylum and all that kind of games, so the Scarecrow fights in that were a lot harder. But I guess that's a lot harder to capture in the film.
I guess more mind games. That would have been cool. I guess if if Scarecrow teamed up with Ra's al Ghul to beat Batman, that would have been cool. Mind games with the then fight. Then I guess Batman would overcome the fight and okay, I got to get my mind off this stuff, But yeah, I would have liked.
I would agree that I did think he went down a little too easy. Because I was just I didn't realize, rewatching it, I was oh, he really went down that quick. It was so all of a sudden, I was oh, all right.
Even that Rachel brought him down. Rachel.
Yeah, basically. And, even with her being maybe she would have went crazy until Batman saved her. But even the scenes when Batman gave him the drug and then he kind of saw Batman, I thought that was a good visual. like
Yeah.
how Batman looked to him. I was like, okay, if I'm not afraid of bats, but that would probably make me a little bit afraid of bats if I saw something like that looking at me.
Oh,
So I feel like if he would have done more of that, like I felt like they used him too much as a pawn.
Mm-hmm.
But
And while I get, it was like I feel like this whole series did deal a lot with Ra's al Ghul to an extent.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight, not too much, but like the last two, like the first and the last was just. I'm like, all right, I get it, but also, can we not?
I wanted more horse blowing out fire from its nose. More scenes of that, like show the terror of the Scarecrow, like dominating the third world country of
Right.
of Gotham. Like show more of that, and show Batman trying to like chase him or something.
I mean, you had that briefly, right? But I think maybe if you would have added even like another 5 to 10 minutes to that, you probably would have gotten more.
Because the time
you built like, okay, we're escalating. Here's the plan starting to come to fruition, and then Rachel.
Yeah, right. Like the time we saw Scarecrow as his most like powerful was when all of Gotham got that poison, right? So the fact that we only got like what a 5 second, less than a minute scene of him in his pure strongest,
right?
Show Batman like in Gotham beating up all the freaking like jail inmates,
right?
Because they all have this gas, right? That could have been 10-minute, 5-minute scene of him trying to find Rachel throughout all of that, then go to Ra's al Ghul. But
yeah, I agree. I definitely I liked that because he worked at the mental hospital and everything. That again, very real to have somebody like you have a job, but you're also doing something really shady. Like
he literally
we have those people in the world who like they have positions of power and they do things. And so I did like that aspect of his character. Like you're somebody who's supposed to help people, but you're really not helping people. You're kind of just there as like you're there, like a plant or something. And so I like that, but I definitely would have liked more time, I guess, to see what he could do in regards to, you know, the gas tank, because clearly it got people thinking people really were insane. And so that was nice. I just felt like we focused a little too much on Ra's al Ghul. And I'm like, all right, dude, like you still
literally the first hour was him and Ra's al Ghul. Like
my thing was just like, what did Gotham do to you that you're this upset about Gotham? Like in the first movie, he was already like, "Oh, we gotta burn Gotham down." I'm like, but what did Gotham do to you? Like, well, why are we mad? Like this is bad over this level of upset. Like if we would have got to movie 3 and it was like Batman kicked his ass a couple of times, I'd be like, all right, there's a grudge now, and that makes sense.
Right.
But in the very first, he was just like, "Oh, we're gonna burn down Gotham." And I'm just like, "But already?" Like, I guess, like, I guess that's the.
Scarecrow could have controlled the whole. Because Scarecrow literally had an army right by his side, like with all those inmates. He could have been like, "Go ham, guys," you know. But it's cool. We got a tease of it. That's what's up.
What are you guys' thoughts about Commissioner Gordon? Like, I love Gary Oldman. He's one of my favorite actors because he has done so many movie roles over the years that he can completely switch like his appearance and everything to fit a role. So it was kind of nice to see him play like a regular guy. Like you're just like Commissioner, well, at the time, cop Gordon and then Detective Gordon before he became Commissioner Gordon. So I personally thought that was a really good choice because he's a good actor. But how do you guys think he approached Commissioner Gordon? Because I feel like I liked him a lot more. Probably any of the Commissioner Gordons. I think even the cartoon, I feel like I liked Gary Oldman's Gordon a lot better.
If I remember correctly, like he was kind of typecast against the cartoon to an extent, right? The look kind of matched up, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen the cartoon, but no, I think that he delivered on all fronts. Like I mean, like when you compare it with the Gotham series, like that's a much younger, different type. But I think that it lined up very well. I think that he delivered on everything that he was supposed to hit on. I bought into the character. So, I mean, I think that's really what you're looking for. I mean, with anything is how much like emotional investment, right? Whenever like in the second one, whenever he got shot, I was like, shit, like I thought that he was supposed to become the commissioner, and then like full circle, now he is, you know, so I was for it. Yeah. Especially when you carry into the third movie, you know, he played a very large part too into, you know, resolving the issue. So I think that when you built up all your characters and all your characters come up and they all contribute, I think that's you can't do much better than that as far as writing goes.
I feel he probably had the best character development in all the movies. I feel like his character development was pretty like hands on. I like Gordon, and shout out for Konstantine for watching Gotham. That's not many people watch Gotham. I
haven't gotten through all of it, but I saw the first 4 seasons or something.
Yeah, I actually did, especially the first couple of seasons. Like, wow, this shit's pretty dark.
Yeah,
especially Joker. Yo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Commissioner Gordon's. The fact that we get to see him grow and become commissioner on the part 2 was actually pretty like hands-on, and I liked him a lot. Mustache was on point, man.
Yeah,
mustache was on point. If he wore a trench coat on Dark Knight Rises or Dark Knight, I would have.
I thought he donned one at some point. No, maybe
I think he did. I feel like he did. Maybe at the last movie, I feel like he did have a
Bullock on point. I like Bullock. Like, you know, they got Bullock on point. He's a crazy partner. But yeah, I like Gary Oldman. Good casting for him. I wish we'd seen him fight more. You know, get more altercations in. I mean, the only altercation we got was him and Joker. Like, I wish he would have. I wish he would have worked with the villains more, because we never see him like really talk to them outside of, I guess, Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Harvey and Joker, but I don't know. I wish we had more action scenes with him, but he was cool. I liked him a lot.
But how much going back to it, I felt like he was more of a supporting character to an extent. Going back to like the animated series, and like I said, it's been a really long time since I've seen it. I don't remember him getting into that many scrapes. I mean,
right?
Wrong. I don't know. It's been a while.
He never.
Yeah, I don't feel like he has.
He didn't get a lot of action in part 1. Now that I think about it,
yeah,
he got more in action in part 2. But I guess he really did anything in part 1 besides being that guy like talking. He never really talked to Bruce. Now I think about it. You ever talk to Bruce? No, he'll talk about
I remember there have been a lot of like them talking by the spotlight or whatever. Or
the
skylight. That was the main thing I remember him. Like that was always where they were talking, and then Batman goes off and does.
No, he talks more to Batman. I'm talking about like Bruce Wayne.
Oh, Bruce. Well, they didn't really talk that much. I don't think that the identity was revealed until like much later.
Yeah.
And even then, like I don't know how much he even really said like in the series, like, hey, you're Bruce, you're Batman, I know you. It's a very subtle, like, I knew who he was.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So.
All right. Yeah. But good casting call. That's a good casting call for Gary Oldman. Got the hair on.
I had Dark Knight on earlier. I love the subtlety of, you know, Bruce is in the Lambo or whatever, and he gets in the accident, and to prevent the other guy getting killed, he's like, you think I should go to a hospital? And he's like, you don't watch the news much, do you? Like, I love the subtleties.
Yeah.
What do you guys like? I know a lot of times we get Batman, there's always the retelling of his parents dying, blah, blah, blah. The story that everybody knows, the Waynes died, and Batman is like in space and he becomes Batman. I feel like, at least on my end, they talked about it, but they didn't dwell on it. And I was okay with that. Like, I feel like there's only so many times we can tell that the origin story without, I'm like, all right, if people don't know the origin story by now, I'm just like, why are we doing this? So I like that they mentioned it, but it wasn't like clearly a lot of his motivation was he was angry about that, and that made sense to me. But they didn't keep like with the over the top flashback scenes of like, oh, my parents died. Let's keep putting this in the audience faces. So how do you guys feel Christopher Nolan approached that with regards to like, he told a bit of it, but he didn't like dwell too much on it with the first movie?
I think that it did everything it needed to do, right? I mean, you had like the buildup of, okay, I fell into the pit, and then there was bats. I don't like bats. All right, here's the opera. Here's bats in the opera. All right, can we roll out? And then, you know, the thing in the alley or wherever they were, bang, bang, they're done. You know, and then now you have Gordon entering to, you know, Bruce's life, and then it builds off of that. So I think that you got the screw all the criminals kind of thing. I'm going to do what I need to do to clean this up. And then I think that's what kind of leads him onto whatever path it is later, where he goes and eventually meets Ra's al Ghul in the League of Shadows or whatever it was. And so I think that thread was really good, especially when you look at it throughout the entire trilogy. And, you start into League of Shadows and you end League of Shadows. Am I saying it right? Is it League of Shadows?
Yeah, it is the League of Shadows.
Okay, I thought so. But yeah, so I think that thread in the beginning all the way to the end, and you're right, you don't harp on it, but Alfred would remind him like your parents' mansion and this, that, and the other, and he's like, well, I'm not my parents, I'm my own guy now. So you have that thread of like Alfred kind of like brings it up from time to time, but you're not dwelling on it like you said. So I think that you still keep it top of mind without beating over the head with it.
The fact that we never got a Batman movie in quite a while, I'm happy that Nolan told the story of the parents, but he did it in a way where you don't have to recap it or re-show that scene again and again in the last two movies. But the fact that he did it, because to be honest, it was similar to what Jaws, where we didn't get to see Batman in his full potential until towards the end, So the fact that we're able to see Bruce grow and tell that story of the parents, I actually appreciate that. And the fact that we get to see Batman, and the fact that you couldn't wait to see Batman again in the next movie, that was dope. Because we saw more of Batman in the second movie, but we saw the creation of Batman in the first. So I actually appreciate that. And he did it right, The whole we saw young Bruce. We never get to see a young Bruce. I mean, in the first three other movies of Burton and the Clooney one, we didn't see baby Bruce grow and stuff like that.
Right.
So the fact that he actually did it right, which is true, Batman Begins. It didn't show Batman Ends. We saw So yeah, I actually did that. And he did it right. He did it very dramatically. I mean, I got scared of opera houses after watching that scene. Like, yeah, can we go now, Dad? Like, I don't like this. So that's cool. I didn't mind it. As long as you don't recap that scene and again in the other movies.
Okay. So now that brings me to The Dark Knight, which just happens to be my favorite of three. I feel like we're on the same page with regards to why. So I feel like I've said this before, but I did have reservations about Heath Ledger playing Joker. I did. I was one of the people like, I don't know, guys. Like, I've seen him in like a lot. I've seen a lot of his work actually. But before I got to see Brokeback Mountain, which changed my mind about it, a lot of stuff I'm like, okay, he does like these teen movies, like that's cool, but also can you play my favorite Batman villain of all time? Like, can you convince me that you're this character? And of course, he didn't shut up. He shut up everybody. He shut everybody up. But my mind changed before the movie came out, and I saw Brokeback Mountain, and I was like, okay, damn, like you convinced me you was really struggling. Like I was convinced that you was this character, and it helped to hear that the stories that he legit stayed in character all through the filming, where he was legit always in character. And I guess method acting works for a lot of people. I think Christian Bale kind of did the same thing, where he was always kind of in character to keep himself. So, what was your thoughts with? We went from Scarecrow, and there was a very small bit of him in the very second movie, like in the very beginning. There was some say, but then we get the little tease of the Joker at the end of the first one, the Joker card. Like, okay, we're definitely getting Joker. And then you see the guy.
Scenes ever. Like, I love that shit.
And then we see the opening, which is the bank scene. So, how did you guys feel like to Christopher? Like, all right, movie 2. Let's do our thing, movie 2, and it opens up pretty much with the whole scene with the Joker in the bank, and even blending in with the school buses, which I thought was great timing, by the way. A smart ass plan to know the buses would be there at that moment. Super smart. So, how do you guys feel about not only Heath Ledger being picked to play the Joker, but in regards to how we are introduced to him for the trilogy?
Ooh, man, I loved it. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I was blissfully ignorant when it came to Heath Ledger. I to an extent, like I knew, yeah, Heath Ledger, keen heartthrob, whatever. But like it didn't even cross my mind, I guess. Like when I saw Joker, I was like, what's a Heath Ledger? That's Joker. So, dude, I was all in on it. That opening scene, everything down to like you established right off the bat. Joker is not to be trifled with because he can put together this plot and he can convince everybody that's in it to off the next person, off the next person, off the next person to where he's the last guy standing later. And it's down to the minute. Like, you know that he's capable of like crazy big things right from the beginning. So you're established that, all right, we're going to get some serious stuff going on here.
I remember, it's funny because I didn't know Heath Ledger like that. I know him because of one movie I saw, and it was a skating movie, Lords of something, Lords of Dogtown. Yeah.
Okay.
That's like a really good movie.
I was thinking like figure skating. I was like, what?
I was thinking about it too. Like, wait.
He was in the skating movie. I forgot. I never saw 10 Things I Hate About You. I did see A Knight's Tale though. Yeah, I remember seeing that movie. Yeah, but I didn't cross my mind. Like I didn't bother. I was like, oh, Joker, that's cool, you know. So everybody wanted Joker, and they got Joker. But I remember watching it for the first time, like at theaters, and the opening scene was really dope. And nobody didn't notice, but I guess we figured out later on that he paid homage to another Joker with the mask, and it was Romero's Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Because the introduction to Romero's Joker, he wore a mask, and you find out that's Joker. So when he wore that same exact mask to shout out Romero, that was actually dope, a dope way. But yeah, I guess we're just talking about the opening scene. That's cool. Because I remember the Nicholson Joker, he was just playing a gangster, Joker. So in this Joker, we actually get to see him be like mind games, a lot of mind games, which I liked a lot, because our Joker, especially Hamill's Joker in an anime series, he played a lot of mind games with a lot of robbers and all that stuff, and he always comes out on top. So the fact that we're able to see him and mess with people and all that stuff, that's actually especially the smartest mobsters and other stuff, like, wow, this guy, we literally had to rely on this guy.
Right.
No, that's actually pretty cool. And I guess we'll talk more about Joker later on, but just talk about the opening scene and all that stuff. That was actually a good way to introduce Heath Ledger's Joker.
Okay. So we also have Harvey Dent, Two-Face. And I've seen a few of his movies as well before, so I didn't really have any preference in regards to
Tommy Lee
him.
Jones.
I hated Tommy Lee Jones's Joker.
Oh, come on, man.
Tommy Lee's Harvey Dent was basically Joker.
Yeah.
I laughed so much in that role. I hated it. Like, who are you trying to play, Joker or like you?
I think my issue with Tommy Lee Jones is he looks really old. So I'm like, Harvey Dent is not supposed to be this old looking, and I think that was my issue with it. It was just like, you look like 20 years older than you're supposed to be looking for Harvey Dent. And so I couldn't.
He was the DA for a long time then.
So I just feel like it was a hard time for me to buy that. Like, you're supposed to be like this before you became Two-Face. You're supposed to be this nice looking DA, and then oh shit, look, And a part of it is like clearly he had some mental issues. Yeah, I feel like in that one it was. We never for Nolan's version it was the explosion, the chemical. The
acid maybe.
They literally, I felt like that whole entire Harvey Dent. They should have continued that in 3. And just end it some way in a way where, but I felt like they rushed all of that. Yeah. That's actually my only gripe with part 2. Like, imagine if they just showed the scenario where Batman, catches a kid, or just leave it where Dent just shoots Bruce. Boom, end the movie right there. You'd be like,
I would have been
let's
so sad.
continue it with 3.
I would have been so sad.
Yeah, and
I
you
hate
see kind of Dark Knight
cliffhangers.
Rises, like boom, right there.
I hate cliffhangers. I would have been mad at Cristobal.
I would have been fine with that because you know
I'd
that
been
we were gonna
cool, but like maybe we don't end the entire movie. Let's just let him go.
He should have lived, or like let Harvey die in 3.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe,
Yeah.
like I like what you're saying. Don't end the entire movie, but like, bang, that happens, and then he disappears for the rest of the movie.
I was actually digging because in a way, like, all right, the whole, all right, Joker, Harvey escapes, right?
Yeah.
Boom, you know, from there, that point on, I'm thinking, I was in movie theaters. I'm like, how are they gonna play this out? You know, like I hope we get a Harvey Dent in movie 3.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yo, are they really rushing this?
Yeah.
I feel like because the movie was about to be like 4 hours long or something. Because there's no way you can tell a Harvey Dent story. Like you birth Harvey Dent, and now you're gonna make him die in less than 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, that whole entire movie was based on like what, 2 days or 1 day, from Joker escaping to Harvey Dent, because Harvey was getting a lot of stuff. So technically, we had Harvey Dent or Two-Face for 1 day, because what, he escaped the hospital, right?
Yeah.
And he's going after each mob member. By nighttime, he's already in the boat scene happened. See, like I felt like we could have got longer Harvey Dent. And
No, I'm totally with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I dig Two-Face because it's a guy who has bipolar as fuck. You know, Rachel, like that's the key line. He had no special quote in that whole entire movie. Like, you know, I'm so serious, or how you got scars in this face. That's Joker.
Yeah.
What's Two-Face's special line? Rachel. Rachel, like there's no
like I make my own luck, or when he has the coin, like you live, you die. And then there was just one, like I said, I literally had it on, it's on pause right now. He's not dead yet. And
I love that guy's an actor.
You live, you're a lucky man or whatever, and then he flips it again, and then he's like, he's not so lucky. He's like, who? Your driver. Bang.
Yeah, nobody knows that, bro.
I guess I'm a little more obsessed with this movie. I don't even need many times.
I mean, I dig it. I just wanted more of him because he's
but you're right. It's very Rachel centric. Yeah,
like he's such a good actor, and I dig him as Two-Face. Like that was actually a really good Two-Face. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we only got him less, like Dark Knight Rises, half of that should have been Two-Face. You know?
Yeah, you open with Jim Gordon talking about him, and then that's like the centric of like why Bane comes back is like, you've been fed a lot, and I don't know. You could have had a little bit more than that.
Yeah, it's cool though. I mean, whatever. It's Nolan's verse, you know.
Hold on one. I don't know if you guys can hear me. My speaker went out. Give me like one.
Yeah, we got you. We can hear you.
We hear you.
Oh my god.
Well, we're gonna keep talking more about this. But yeah, Two-Face. Hated Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face. That was more Riddler.
Yeah.
And
Jim Carrey knocked it out with that.
That was actually pretty good. I mean, I dig it. What else? Is
anybody else upset that like I felt like we could have got a fourth one, some kind of way maybe?
There should have been a fourth one.
Yeah.
But I feel like Nolan didn't want
to become a Nightwing or something like that.
Because I remember watching an interview, there was about to be a fourth one, and that's the reason why it ended it like that, because he didn't know if he was going to continue another one, so he left it as that cliffhanger of maybe this guy can be the next Batman, and all that stuff. But man, I wanted more Two-Face. I was looking forward to 3. I'm like, no, you gotta kill him off right there already. We got 1 day of Harvey Dent.
He didn't even get to heal. His face didn't even get to heal.
He did it. That's fine.
It's a significant lack of hydrogen peroxide in that movie.
I mean, I'm gonna have to agree. We definitely got Two-Face like very little because it was focused mostly on his like overzealousness as a DA. Like he was like, let's just he was so eager to like make a difference to an extent where I want to say he kind of took some shortcuts with some of the things he was saying. I'm like, okay, that's right. That sounds right. Like for the stuff I knew about law, but then the other stuff, I'm like, I mean, I guess this is Gotham's law. This is how this works. You can just throw all these people in jail, and I guess that works. So I feel like with that regard, we focus more on Harvey Dent as the DA. Mm-hmm. And clearly he already had some mental issues because I mean, I get that. Okay, it was traumatic. He lost his woman, and Batman wanted, and obviously the Joker planned that perfectly as well, knowing Batman would go for Rachel, and he was like, "I'm gonna give you the completely opposite address,
right?
For switch the addresses, knowing."
So was Batman that kind of a weird scene for anybody else? Like, I just haven't just seen it again. I'm still like, I don't know. Like, I don't get it. It didn't really make sense to me. Like, I guess was that the interpretation I was supposed to take? Was that he switched the addresses knowing, or
I feel like
he was going for one, but then he was going for the other one?
I feel like he knew that he had Rachel was some significance to him. I felt like he knew that, and that's probably why I figured he knew Batman would want to save Rachel, and he's like, well, it sucks because not only. And obviously he knew about Rachel and Harvey Dent as well. I think he implied that at that party that was at Wayne Manor. Like he knew there was something. So probably to kind of see how you can make people go a little crazy. But I feel like you can't just go crazy if you're not a little bit crazy already. I feel like that's like something has to be like, you might be sad and you might be like angry about it. And that's like logical to me. But it's also like, if I'm not going to start killing people because I lost a significant other either. So it's like, that's not going to be my mindset. Like I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be crying a bit, but I'm not going to be like, you know what? Let's just go after all the people I think responsible. And now all of a sudden I'm holding, guns and ready to like do all this planning and kidnapping. I feel like that's an extreme place to get to unless you kind of already had some mental instability already.
But then we go back to
the reason why I felt
like Batman's parents died and he donned a suit, and he really took it to the extreme. I think it's more
like literally.
But that's the thing, I guess, with Joker saying that they're like two sides of the same coin, because like Batman's also kind of weird. Like you put on the suit as a bat, and you're like hiding in the shadows and like all this other stuff. Do you really need? So I get that aspect. I just feel like for you to go that crazy, you have to.
He really needed the illest. He needed another movie. To answer all of these questions right now, he needed another movie because all that was rushed. It's like, I want revenge, like already after that, like, yo, you just woke up, half of your face is gone. You should be better.
It's realistic. You can't move. Burn victims are in the hospital for months.
That was another thing. I'm like, you telling me you have no morphine or anything?
I say you must be just pumped. Yeah, he's not taking any pain.
Because like literally, gone. There's no pain. Like you feel
if I was
nothing.
to redo that, I felt like
all the nerves were burned. That's what it was.
I felt like Joker should have just messed with him, and that ending scene of you do not know if Joker killed him or not, just leave it like that. Just end Harvey's story like that. So hopefully in movie 3 we get to see more of him, like him breaking out, like doing some crazy shit. But the fact that they rushed all of that, like this guy's just got out of the hospital. I'm gonna kidnap mad people, Falcone, all these like Ramirez, whatever her chick name is. Like, yeah. But to end Harvey Dent's story like that, just leave him like that, that would have been perfect. Like Joker, you didn't know if Joker killed him or not. Then you found out in movie 3 with Bane and Catwoman, holy shit, he's alive. And now he's really broken.
Right.
Like this guy's broken as hell. And now you show him like, damn, But that's great. Like,
I mean, like, I guess I see that, but also we have to think of what. I mean, I guess a lot of it was changed because Heath Ledger did pass.
Yeah.
So I feel like they kind of had to like, okay, what can we go now? Because I feel like it was from what I've read.
It was.
We were supposed to have another Joker appearance.
Yeah.
In movie 3, but then he died. And so I think Christian Bale had to kind of like, okay, now we have to completely rewrap what we want to do with this. And I guess mentioning movie 3 with the whole like, well, Harvey isn't who you guys think he is. That was I think that was probably my biggest gripe with movie 2 is Batman taking the fall for all of that. Because I'm like, first of all, absolutely not. Like, like I guess this is why I can never be a hero in that regards, because not me. Like, This
Like,
man
he could have
did
done
not.
that.
He did that. That wasn't just like the only part though. Like he did that a few times throughout, right? I mean, you
I
had
felt
things
like-
like
yeah.
Batman can take it, you know, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and I felt like by the end though, when it was like, let's just blame me because Gotham can't handle it. And I'm like, first of all, the audacity, because these people are like half the people in Gotham are like criminals anyway. So like,
But I felt
I
like
guess.
the theme of
But
that
I hated that so much, and I get that why Gordon, I guess, understood what he meant, and he did it too. Like he kind of went along with the lie. I just hated that he had, because I'm like, you are getting blamed for Harvey Dent crazy ass, because Harvey Dent clearly was a little bit crazy, and you got blamed for something because Harvey Dent was mad he lost a spouse, like, or a significant other. Like, you're not the first person to lose a spouse, dude. I'm just,
Maybe
just
the first one to like a major criminal who got
yeah. I mean, yeah, in that regard, yes. But I just
the theme of what Dark Knight Rises was you had to die a hero, live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I feel like that was the whole entire theme of that whole entire movie, which was understandable because it's either Harvey Dent or Bruce. But
yeah, but I think that's why we, like, I guess keeping him dead was like, oh, we had they make the Harvey Dent act in number 3 because Harvey Dent passed, and they used what he was doing to like, okay, now we can really get after the mafia and the mob. Right. So I feel like that was, I guess, where they went, like, okay, he died, Batman's such a bad guy, and we're using this, like, they had a Harvey Dent day and everything. Right. Which also annoyed me when the mayor was talking, and I, like, that was the last one I had to rewatch, and I'm just like, ew, it was just so like, well, this criminal. And I'm like, first of all, dude, if you guys were some real cops, you would have known Harvey was kidnapping people. Okay, like, y'all would have known Harvey was doing all this stuff.
Maybe not though, because I mean, it only happened in like a day, so you know.
Like the fact that Batman got blamed for that crap, and like he had to go into hiding, and then I hate it. Like I hated that part. It was like the one part of 2, like I really disliked that he took all that blame, and I get why, I guess, but I didn't like it.
I think
this is where I would not be a hero because, like, not fuck no.
There's a part of me.
He Harvey right here on the floor. He did this. Okay, I'll take my L for the vigilantism and destroying property. Fine, but I'm not for kidnapping children and blowing up buildings. And I'm not. Hell no, not me. But this is why I'm not a hero.
There was a part of that when I was watching that in theaters. I think it is actually probably not my favorite Joker scene, but I guess the big twist in the middle was like, holy crap, they got Joker already? Then I'm like, oh no. He stumped everybody is when he wanted to be caught. And I'm like, yeah, that's that scene right there.
Like quintessential Joker right there. And
it leads up to the best interrogation scene ever. But before that, when you thought, damn, like I wanted more of this. And like, oh, we're getting more. Like he stumped everybody. I remember in the theaters, and I was like, that's probably like the best scene. And I shout out Christopher Nolan for this because that scene alone where he plotted everybody, like that's probably the best Joker moment. And probably I don't want to say the best moment ever because I have a lot of favorite Joker moments in all of, I guess, from animated series and whatnot. But that's probably like my top 5 because not only we get the best Batmobile movie scene, but the fact that you saw Gordon working together with Batman, we got that in there too. Like that's actually the first time they actually worked together, and that's how you show like how badass Jim Gordon is. But behind all of that, Joker stumped everybody, and I love that. That's like the best scene ever because you get to see the rocket launcher, even from shots to like, oh crap, we got a rocket launcher Joker now, like holy crap, So that's hands down. I give Nolan for even producing that scene and like putting it all together because that's how Joker is. Like the minute you think one thing, he played a joke on you guy.
It's Roddy Piper right there, man.
Yeah,
you got chances. I changed the question.
Yeah. Then my favorite one is the interrogation with him and Two-Face. Like that was really dope. Like you live, you die. Oh, I like this. That hands down.
I think it was cool that he ad-libbed a lot of that stuff. So that to me, I was like, if you can ad-lib it, I believe this was part of the script. Kudos, because I believe that scene in the hospital scene, a lot of that wasn't necessarily in the script. He kind of just went with it, and then I believe the scene also when he's kind of just sitting there when like all hell's breaking loose in the police station, he's just staring off, like this is part of my plan. Completely ad-libbed, and I'm like, you know what, Heath, Thank you, bro. Because again, he really shut me up. I was really like with my mom, like, I don't know, mom. I don't know if they did the right choice with him as Joker. And he really shut me up because he convinced me that he was completely like smart, but also insane. Like he was clearly had to be smart to pull off half the stuff that he did.
There's a lot of amazing quotes.
He was also convinced me that, you're really like crazy just because, and I respect if you could convince me of that. And he did. So that it was good to hear that he kind of ad-libbed a lot of that it wasn't necessarily in the script. Christopher kind of just let him do him.
It's hard. It's really hard to top any scenes in that movie with Heath in it. I mean, the burning of the money, he doesn't care about money. That's, the whole, let's show a trick. Like there's so much iconic moments that I feel bad for the next person they're gonna cast for Joker because.
Oh, you mean like Jared Leto?
Huh.
I mean,
I will not write about
I don't know. I mean, the minute we saw the grill, I acknowledged the grill because
I don't acknowledge the grill.
You know why? Because there's no way Batman's gonna punch in your mouth and none of your teeth fall off. Like, there's no way. I acknowledged the grill. I was like, you know what? I understand.
Batman would kick.
I don't even know if it was even for that.
He'll probably use the grill as a piece to beat him up, and I would have been fine with this. I hate it. Oh, look, I'm about to rant. I'm not right.
I don't tattoos. Whatever, man.
I'm actually okay.
Too many
if
versions.
you don't get the Joker again. I'll be all right with that.
Give me a multiverse. Give me variants of this. Just steal stuff off Marvel. Do timelines. Whatever. You got this. I like that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Jared Leto is just. I hated his Joker. I know people liked it.
I'm pretty sure when Jared Leto got that role.
Why I liked Heath better is because it was an unsuspecting. You really convinced me. I felt like Jared Leto felt like I have to do this to be better, and it failed. At least it did for me. And people
there's no way. I felt like if you're in Jared Leto's shoes, he already knew that. There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way. Like Zach, I'm sorry. There's no way. So I'm gonna do it this way because there's no way I could top up a performance like he. Like I'm pretty sure that's the conversation. Or Zach, or when Zach was like, there's no way I could top this Heath Ledger Joker, man. Like it's either you go edgy, make girls like you, whatever. There's no way.
We don't even need to talk about it.
So now, because you guys mentioned Harvey Dent dying, and we got the Harvey Dent act, so now that brings us to movie 3. I did have an issue with Bane was cool until I realized he was pretty much doing this all for a woman. And I like happy ever afters. I rate this stuff. But in the Batman movie, I'm like, listen, we're not gonna do this where you're letting women throw you off your game.
He got friend zoned.
I just feel like even Batman to an extent, because he got Catwoman was doing, well, they never really acknowledged her as Catwoman. So Selena Kyle was doing all types of shenanigans the whole fucking movie. And he was just allowing this. And I'm like, first of all, Christian Bale, you're supposed to be smart here. Why are we doing this? And then the thing with his Ra's al Ghul daughter, I'm just like, so you got twice in the same movie, you just had 2 women just completely make me look completely dumb. And this is okay. And I look at it. I like romance aspects. I just feel like in this movie, it really irritated me because it felt like you guys were all doing this for one woman. And that
really take that away from it. But I mean, when you put it that way, yeah, okay.
That I feel like I like that we got, because we never we had the Bane with the poison that Tim Burton one.
Yeah.
I really I didn't really have too many thoughts of that Bane because he was just kind of there for muscle.
Yeah.
In that movie, like a mindless muscle person, they had him used as that. But he seemed smart. Even the scene when he was kind of introduced for the first time, it was super nice, good conversation. I'm like, all right, this is a different kind of villain, not like a normal street villain. He was outsmarting people, and then to the fear that after all of this, you was just doing this for a woman. I was just like, are you kidding me? So this makes me feel everything you did not even worse. You did this because a woman told you to do this, I guess. And for me, that bothered me because I'm just like, we all just gone slack for women on this whole movie again. And I like romance, but I just, for being the climax, this is the end of the story, and you did watch Commissioner Gordon go from beat cop to detective to commissioner, to the point even where he was feeling remorseful that he kind of let Batman take the fall. Because like in the beginning of the movie when he was doing the speech, I believe he wanted to tell what really happened and he chose not to. But so clearly there was some remorse there, you know, even when, you know, the amount of effort he did, and then we got introduced to Robin, since that's what his real name was supposed to be.
Was that it, or were we going a Nightwing direction? I couldn't tell.
Yeah, well, they said his name was supposed to be Robin. Like he was like, my real name is Robin. I was like, okay, the little nod that we might get. Maybe if they decided to go anywhere, it would be Robin because that was supposed to be his birth name.
Right.
He changed it when he got adopted or whatever they were saying. So it really bothered me because I was like, you were, again, all of you guys did this because Rouse and his daughter was the one taking the mantle. And this is what you guys did this for her. Like that bothered me. I felt like it just completely discredited what he was doing because it was literally for her. It wasn't like he was just like, let me show you. I mean, he was right with regards to show you not only was everything you guys knew was a lie, the Harvey Dent situation, but like we already knew Gotham was criminals. Like Gotham looked like shit by the time Batman came back from his 7 years.
Right.
When he came back, Gotham looked completely shitty. Like, like clearly stuff was happening in Gotham that this is not the best place. So I get like, I guess letting people know like the law isn't what you guys think it is. And that's really real. Like, you know, sometimes people again in power and law enforcement is not always the way we think it is. And so that part I like that part. I understood that. Like, you know, this is very real. Like sometimes law and order isn't exactly what we think it is as a citizen. So that I got. I just hated that by the end after he got beat up and he was looking all sad and stuff. I'm like, you did this for, I mean, I guess. Like, you know what, man, you suck. See, Joker literally was just doing shit because, and that's the reason why if I want to rank villains of the series, Joker is my one because he was just doing it just because there was no really actual rhyme and reason of why. Just like, oh, I can do it, so I will. The fact that, you know, Scarecrow kind of was working for Ra's al Ghul as well, and then you had just like, so nobody, okay, I mean, I guess like, and I get in regards to because Christian Bale's Batman, they showed us that was his journey. That's how he wouldn't have become Batman if he didn't learn these techniques. So that I understood. I just hated that Bane seemed super like extra. He beat up Batman, had him laying in a cave or broken up. And I was like, damn, I kind of feel sad. You know, I was all sad when I first watched it. I was sad. I was like, oh, Batman, you know, it's okay. And I was sad and I had a couple of tears shed. But then by the end, I'm like, you know what? So you did all this breaking Batman's back for a woman? that really bothered me so much. So what are you guys' thoughts, I guess, in regards to the way
like this movie, like that movie and Bane, I felt like it should have been movie 4 because in movie 3 is like we should have seen shit go crazy haywire because Batman is quote unquote gone. It felt like it just felt so rushed. It was a lot of I questioned a lot of stuff in this movie. I mean, yeah, it's, and I guess they got Bane wrong. I mean, he didn't speak not one ounce of Spanish at all. You know, he had the only accent. God knows what this guy was doing. I mean, I feel like in this movie alone, Christian Bale was been like, he was just doing Nolan stuff, man. Like Nolan was just doing a lot of Nolan stuff in this movie. A lot of questions, a lot of like, what, really? What the fuck? You know, like how? You know, it just felt so rushed. And I felt like we should just got another movie. Because if your Batman's gonna be gone for God knows how long, what was it, a year?
No,
it was like 7 years.
It was some time. It was years.
Right? We should have seen Batman doing stuff where he's out, like, you know, or cops is legit chasing this guy. Like, yeah, he's doing things to help the community at night, but it's crazy. It's I didn't like it. I didn't like it. You know, but Bane was just horrible. Catwoman was horrible. I didn't like Anne Hathaway.
You know what? I dug Catwoman in this one actually. Yeah, I think you could have built it a little bit more, but I dug it. So, but in this movie, actually, like when I first saw it in theaters, I was like, I don't know. But I watched it again recently. I was like, okay, this holds up better than I remembered. My biggest gripe, and I will say this till you put me 6 feet under or scatter my ashes or whatever. Why didn't we have a bigger Bane? You couldn't find nobody bigger. Nobody. Tom
Nolan
Hardy
likes picking
five,
his. If
right?
you look at every Nolan character, they're in all the movies like Inception.
Like, Tom Hardy's like 5'8", maybe. Like Batman's taller than Bane in every other incarnation. Bane is massive. You could have found somebody who was 6'2". I don't know.
Maybe that's why I like Joe
30
Schumacher's
pounds of
Bane.
muscle on him.
Joe
You know what I
Schumacher's
mean?
Bane was amazing.
What's that?
Point. Joe Schumacher, the one with the old Bane with the Freeze one. Like, they actually got him on film.
Right, exactly. And so like whenever I was like, but this is Bane, like this is the one, like you sure this is what we want to go with? Like where's the tubes and stuff? When I had no tubes, like I don't know. That was my biggest gripe with the entire movie. I was just like, how am I supposed to? And I'm in wrestling, like I get it. Like the little guy can beat up the big guy, it's fine. But like
this guy should have been 6 feet.
Yeah, no less than 6 feet. Or
we could have gotten Batista.
yes. Exactly. You know,
right? They could have got him. They could have got Brock Lesnar. I don't care.
Put some lips in his Spanish. Yeah, they did your angles differently. At least just make Bane bigger than Batman.
That is true. They definitely could have used angles because that's what they did with Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. Like, because he was so much taller than he should have been, they would do certain angles so he wouldn't look as tall on camera. So they definitely could have done that because he was kind of short. Like, and Bane is supposed to be super massive. Like, as far as, and I know everybody's not crazy enough to do what Christian Bale does, which is like put on and lose weight very quickly. Everybody's not going to do that level of acting where they like, I'll just lose mad weight or gain mad weight.
Right.
Because I was reading earlier and I was like trying to get my questions, and like apparently Christian Bale gained too much weight for Batman, and it was like, and he was like, all right, I'll lose it, and he lost it in like I was like 2 weeks. Like, I mean, I guess like he's like crazy enough to do that type of excessive weight gain and loss, but they definitely should have gotten somebody else in regards to like, because he was kind of like Tom Hardy is not tall.
No, he's not.
And while I was okay with like, I guess his accent, like I'm not sure where he was going. I guess where he was supposed to be from. Whatever. So I was okay with it, but again, he just all his went out the window once I realized that was the reason.
Bane is technically supposed to be Mexican, who's a luchador, speaks Spanish. You know, this guy knows how to fight. He knows how to wrestle. Like, you know, Bane's supposed to be that. That's the reason why it's fucking mask, because he's a freaking luchador, and he not speak not 1 ounce of Spanish in this whole entire movie, and it made me so.
It was altogether different. Like it was almost like I don't know. East Asian or like Middle Asian or something like that. Somewhere, one of those countries somewhere. And it's like,
yeah, that's the vibe I got. Why he was probably like, he was supposed to be from one of those like Middle Eastern countries.
And apparently like there's another thing too. Like, so Tom Hardy did a voice and then they put some kind of something over it too, which is why you get what you get whenever you hear him talk.
So they did like a test footage scene of the first scene. Like, there's the first scene, guys. Hope you like it. And they got so much right because you could not hear what he's saying because of the mask. So they had to redub and voice over and put some type of filter. You know, it was tough. But the best scene in this whole entire movie, to me, was the Scarecrow scene. Another crazy, iconic scene because he's playing a judge. And, you know, and I was like, this is great. But outside of that, I hated every part of this movie. Like, I don't care. That's my favorite part of the whole entire movie.
I would say if Heath Ledger would have lived, it would have been nice to kind of, because, you know, he technically got captured. Mm-hmm. It would have been nice to see how him and Scarecrow would have played off that scene.
He would have played a jester. He would just
like that whole courtroom scene where he was playing the judge and he was like guilty or whatever, and it was like a really random sentence that made no sense. Yeah. Like, to kind of see if they could have had some back and forth with him and Heath would have been cool. But I know, you know, he wasn't here. So I would have loved to seen that. I was like, that was one of my first thoughts when I first saw the movie. It was like that one scene.
I think it was also from an animated series.
That would have been great.
I think it was from an animated series too, where they did a courtroom scene and actually had Batman on like a thing. Yeah, I think that was one of the famous scenes. I think Two-Face was the judge for that one. I may be wrong. I have to look it up, but. Like, I love that courtroom scene. I wish they showed more courtroom scenes. I wish they would have kidnapped Batman and be like, you're in trial, bro. Because he's supposed to be bad, right? This whole entire thing, that would have been an iconic scene because everybody's chased Batman. He murdered this guy. Oh, they got Batman now. You know, everything is in shit. Okay, they caught Batman. You found out that he's Bruce Wayne. Whatever, you know. It's just crazy.
I don't know. I felt like this movie wasn't as bad as I remember. Out of all the movies, I mean, arguably they might have had the best fighting and action sequences, I think, maybe in this one. Mm-hmm. It got a little bit like convoluted. Like it was kind of hard to follow to an extent with like what's going on, who's this, who's that. Maybe I just don't have a good attention span. I don't know. But like towards the end, I was trying to piece everything together, and it took me a little while. Like you had mentioned, like this was all for a woman, and I was like, oh, I guess so. Like I didn't think of it that way, but like I don't know. But yeah, overall, I would say it held up better than I remembered. I was really looking forward to the backbreaking scene because like that's one of the
that's an iconic scene.
Big Bane, you have him like holding Batman over his head, and then bang. So I mean, I was cool with that, and I liked the redemption story, and like you go back to the recurring theme of like the movie, like from jump, right? We're tying it all together. We're going full circle where we fall down into the pit. Why do we fall? So we can get back up. And you have that, and you have that, and you have that, and then that kind of goes, start to finish. So I think if you're looking for a full storyline thread, like you have your recurring themes throughout the movie. And so that to me, and maybe I'm looking at it through different eyes, but I mean, just from storytelling wise, like I think that's kind of your story of Batman 2 is, get knocked down 9 times, get up 10, whatever it is. So
that's true. I mean, the whole breaking the bat, the fact that it was all tied in together of like we broke him mentally and physically because he did break him mentally. That's pretty dope. And the whole, you found out they're fighting under the freaking Wayne Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. I just felt like we should have gotten another movie.
Oh, dude,
I felt because all that was just put together. I felt like I'm pretty sure if we Twitter right now, hey, Christopher Nolan, was there more parts to that movie that we should have got? It would have been a 5-hour movie, and I would have been totally fine with that.
Well, I think I
got money to spare. Let's put out the extended releases. Give me the full.
I felt like there was so much to that movie that he caught out.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly wouldn't mind if there were scenes cut out and they just put it all together again.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I wouldn't mind his because he usually is very with his.
Didn't they just?
I don't feel like it would be too unnecessary.
Justice League or something? Wasn't it like a 12-hour movie or something? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Because Nolan's good. Nolan is known for these long ass movies,
right?
Look at fucking Interstellar. I mean, that was a big, holy crap. So I'm pretty sure all this would have been.
I do know he did want to end at 3, though. He did say. I think that's why I believe I read Christian Bale was going to do a 4th Batman movie, but not under Christopher Nolan. But then he decided not to respect Christopher Nolan wanted to end with 3 movies.
Yeah.
I would have minded not seeing like one more Christian Bale movie, but he did it to respect Christopher. Like, you know what? I won't.
I like
a 4th movie.
I like how we're talking about this, and we don't give any craps about Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. Like we did not bring her up at all.
I mean, my thing with Anne Hathaway is because they really didn't acknowledge her as Catwoman. Like we knew she was because her name is Selena Kyle, and we knew that, and she was a cat burglar, and we knew that, but they never really acknowledged it. They made her more like she was like a thief.
How does she know how to fight? That's what I want to know.
Like she was a thief who kind of like she was a poor thief, and she took to help her.
You gotta learn how to scrape.
Yeah, I feel like in Gotham, if you didn't learn something, because I feel like the way Gotham was, you better have learned something.
There's no way. There's absolutely no way where Ra's al Ghul has trained ninjas, and Anne Hathaway is fighting these trained ninjas perfectly. There's no way. Realistically, there's
Weren't
no
they just
way.
thugs? Weren't they just thugs that she was fighting off? I don't think they were like the full.
Yeah, I feel like they were just like some of the. I don't think
they were trained. They were trained under Bane. Okay, so I'm pretty sure these guys are.
Bane just hired a bunch of construction workers.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
The whole thing.
Because I'm pretty sure Bruce told her these aren't your regular criminals or something like that. Something like that. I'm pretty sure those are ninjas. Because I'm pretty sure he warned her like these aren't your typical. Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that.
I mean, she was hopping down the mansion windows though, so there's that. Like in the beginning when she kicked his cane. After she stole his mother's necklace, and she was like, "Oh well, you know," and it just flipped out the window. And I was like, "Well, sis, you didn't flip out the whole window from a mansion. Like that was kind of." I would probably died, but you know, whatever. Like, I'm not flipping out of windows, but you know, so if she doesn't do that, maybe she learned
Got those
something.
mad cat scratches, man. You know.
I feel like that was my thing. And then she didn't have a cool Catwoman costume, and I feel like, you know, Catwoman's always known for a good costume, and sis just had a black leather outfit and some cat ears, and I'm like, okay, I mean, I guess.
I didn't mind it.
I mean, I didn't
mind the goggles, right? The cat ears were the goggles.
Yeah, but I don't know. You think of like the last Catwoman we had was Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, and why I didn't necessarily like the story too much. I did like
Halle Berry.
I don't.
There's a whole movie.
Yes, I don't acknowledge, and I love Halle Berry. I just do not acknowledge that movie because they did her.
There's a Catwoman that knows capoeira. I loved it. That was great. That's great.
And I love Halle Berry. I was just so mad when I saw that movie. I think, God damn, I'm going to tell my age now. I was in high school when I saw that movie, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Why are we doing?" I just and I did. But the costume wasn't bad. It's just they could have done Catwoman so much better.
See, I didn't mind this
Catwoman. Or the kid who was the first Black Catwoman. It would have been a great way to pay homage to her, and they just completely ruined it. And so, yes, there's the Halle Berry Catwoman because it's not the same world as Batman. Like she existed, but we never heard about Batman. Like he didn't exist. So Michelle Pfeiffer would have been the one after before that, and I don't know. Like she had I get the whole thing about the whip, and I'm like, no, you wouldn't need a whip in Gotham. Like unless you're about to do some BDSM. You shouldn't need a whip during fighting. Like, what are you going to do with this? So I get that part. Like, we don't need that. But I felt like it was just
break some necks with it.
I mean, that's true. Okay, yeah, you can definitely like do some things with it, but I don't know. I felt like because they never acknowledged that she was Catwoman, we just knew she was. You know, they never said she's Catwoman. They never gave her the moniker in the movie.
Maybe that was coming in for.
I mean, in the Marvel movies, you don't really acknowledge a lot of the nicknames and all that stuff. You never heard Tony say. You never heard Tony say, or you never heard Steve Rogers say, "Hey, Iron Man." He would say, "Hey, Tony." You know, never.
I mean, in regards to she was supposed to be a villain. Like, I don't know. I feel like she's more anti-hero because she kind of redeemed herself by the end as well. Like, she was kind of shitty, and then by the end, she was like, "Yeah, kind of fucked up," and then she helped kind of get everything together. So she was like I guess she would be an anti-hero. So, what are you guys' thoughts about the end? Because this is definitely Christopher Nolan thing. When you get to the end, you're like, wait a minute, what?
That
and
whole
now you're thinking
thing,
for like a month after the movie ended, a month later, you're still like, so what was happening with the end? And now you're stressed? Because that's I did like talk about it. I'm like, yo, so did Batman die? Did he live with Alfred just imagining he was there? So what were your thoughts about the
reminded me of Inception. Spinning top.
Like that's Nolan being Nolan, man.
Inception stressed me. That movie stressed me out too because I'm like, you know what, Christopher? First of all, don't do this because you feel like I'm sure this is it, and then he's like, no, you don't know, and now you're stressed. That's how I was at the end of this. It's like, did he die? Did he really just like, I don't need to be Batman anymore? Gotham is fine.
Nah, he didn't die.
It was so many different things like. Because I'm like, why would Alfred just randomly know where Batman is? Like that whole sequence, he's watching him at the restaurant. I'm like, so you just
he tipped it off, right? He gave Bruce the time and the location that he would be there. You know, every year I go to wherever at this time, and I go to this cafe or whatever, and every time I imagine that.
Well, yeah, okay, that's true.
You know, you'd be there and you'd have a wife, maybe kids, and I'd see you, you'd see me. You know, we acknowledge each other, and that'd be it. So I took the. Plus, I mean, it's Batman, and he's got like this mega jet stealth thing. So, like, why wouldn't he be able to get away, drop it off into the ocean, whatever, you know, and then get away? He's got this military grade type deal. Maybe it can withstand the explosion. He gets away. So, I think
he swam hella hard
away, and especially if we're entertaining the idea that maybe there was going to be another one coming, like, especially even at that open ended, right?
Yeah, I mean,
he can disappear. He's got credibility of why he's, you know, I'm not Batman anymore. And now we have the new one, and then that's kind of like, what was the Batman Beyond? That the animated series, right? Where you had old Bruce crippled, and then you had the new guy. So maybe that's where potentially you could lead into with it.
I mean, they did have Robin go to the Batcave, which it was like, okay, so it's like maybe he could take up the mantle. But I just hate it. I was like, Chris, you know what, Christopher, because I was stressed. I did think about this a lot longer than I probably should have when it first came out. Like, so what happened? And why am I thinking so hard about this? I had a lot of discussion with people. Like, so what do you think happened? Like, I feel like he shouldn't have dated Catwoman either. Like, you deserve better Christian Bale because she just irritated me the whole movie. I hated her character. I just hated how she was just so, like, I get that you had like a hard life, but maybe because I feel like it's like to be that cruel. I don't know.
But I think also
she kind of led him into that whole trap in the first place when he got his back broken. Like, she's the reason he, and I hated that. It's just like, why? I know she redeemed herself, I guess. I just hated, like, are you really that cruel? Like, to even go along with that, I wouldn't have went that far. Like,
I mean, maybe they were just, just having a nice time on a vacation together, maybe getting it in once or twice,
This movie was it's just crazy. I mean, and they were in the pit in the prison, and the only way you can get out is if you climb up this big ass well. And that's the only way you get out. Like, what kind of prison system?
I'm curious though, how do they get fed? Because imagine being like the guards, like the guards have to work there, like telling your wife, "Oh, it's gonna take me like mad hours to get out of this to go home." Like, how did that work with like food and stuff? Because in it was so hard to get out of there.
Yeah, but they're probably getting paid out the ass
at all.
Unless they never left. But like, I couldn't work a job where I have to be underground with prisoners. Like, I don't think you could pay me enough for that. Because
is this gonna be your hang up? This is gonna be your hang up on the whole movie. Is how are we gonna feed these people? We're talking about superheroes.
I mean, yes, they're criminals, but they have to eat, right?
If there's gonna be any hang up for any of this, is how in the hell did nobody in Gotham put it together that the billionaire is the one who's Batman because he can afford all this shit?
See, that is always my issue with superhero movies. I feel like some movies, I'm like, how can you not put 2 and 2 together that this is this person?
Yeah,
that's my biggest issue.
Nolan's real.
It's like glasses don't make you look that different. That you're
well,
like,
apparently that's a whole different theory of like he just vibrates so much that you can never actually see his face. I don't know. That's a whole different. I think we're talking about Superman at this point.
Yeah, I did mention Superman only because I hate his disguise. I'm like, that is the stupidest. I don't like if you're that like if I work with somebody
at least have like the glasses and the nose and the mustache. Just put them on.
Like you putting a little curl or something, or like just put some glasses on. I'm like, if this is my homie and I work with you for years, I'm gonna know this is you in a cape personally. Yeah. But maybe because I'm like really aware of stuff. So
I'm sorry, but the worst disguise is Sailor Moon. I'm sorry, and all the Sailor Scouts. There's no way. There's no way.
Well, apparently nobody knew they were them either, even though their costume was exactly the same. They just had tiaras. And I'm like, so none of you got, not even your mom was like, oh, I saw you fighting crime after school. Just like, no. And I'm just
that
like,
wasn't
okay,
me. That's my I guess it's the same school uniform, just little
shows it, right? I mean, he was like, yeah, I'm Iron Man, what's up?
But yeah, I do agree, like especially when Bruce Wayne was like gone and Batman was gone, I would have put that together like how they both got at the same time, like me, I would have put that together. But so yeah, I do agree with that. Like I don't know how nobody ever gets.
But no, you're right. We definitely got to talk about how you're going to feed all these people and explain to your wife.
I'm just saying because look how long it took Batman to get out of that hole. Like he struggled, and even Bane implied that he struggled.
If you get out of this, you get out. No payroll, all that stuff. That's the worst prison. I'll do
like, how do you
whatever
like,
I can.
Dude, like I just felt like it was so like primitive. Like it's like how do you like how do they
drop shit down? Just lower it down. And...
So now we're gonna get to ranking. How will you rank the 3?
Obviously, Dark Knight is number 1. I don't think that there's any question. I think I'm gonna catch a lot of heat here, but I'm going 2, 3, 1. And I think just because like 1 was it was detached. I think like it didn't have its own identity at that point. 1 being Batman Begins, so like you get the origin story, you get a little bit of this, you get a little bit of that. But I mean, even going so far as to like sprinkling in, the Scarecrow and like limited amounts of that, and like the development wasn't all the way there, or like the appearances weren't all the way there for your villains and things like that. It was just a lot of, yes, we're building like conceptually and stuff like that, but like the action sequences were limited, barring like the beginning when he's training, and then like towards the end when he's fighting a little bit. But even then, like he's fighting in the train, and then like, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you. So to me, it was kind of like, that's just me, 2, 3, 1 for me.
I go 1, 2, 3. I felt like 1 had no issues. It was a lot of teases, but it had no issues. And that's probably one of the best end credit scenes to a movie that I ever seen.
Have you seen Venom 2 yet? No spoilers, but good.
That was cool, but I had a feeling about that.
Yeah.
But I felt Batman Begins it did it right. It told the story of Batman Begins,
Right.
And the fact that it took me a while to realize that, holy crap, Batman was trained by ninjas. Because when I was watching the animated series, I never understood,
Right.
But the fact that I understand that, holy crap, Batman's a ninja. Why didn't I figure out this? All his stuff about him, gadget-wise, he was trained by ninjas,
right.
So I enjoyed the fact that we were able to see that build up, and it told it perfectly, and there was no faults into that movie. Outside of I was talking about Scarecrow,
right?
I felt like we could have got more Scarecrow towards the middle, but the fact that all right, and that was actually a cool Batmobile sequence. Everything doesn't come in black. We saw Lucius Fox being Lucius Fox, Alfred being Alfred, So I was fine with that. It had no faults. There was no issue about that movie. And I think people only like Dark Knight Dark Knight was because of Joker. Fuck Christian Bale and everything. But just to like Dark Knight because of Joker, I understand. But I felt 1 told a really good story, and it lived up to its hype. It lived up to what the theme of the movie was.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed. So it's 1, 2, and 3 because I don't even acknowledge 3.
Damn, cold. All right.
Yeah. So for me, it's Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and then Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
And yes, a good part of why Dark Knight is number 1 is because of the Joker. But I guess I feel like because I know so much background information as far as what Heath was going through, why he was filming this, that I put a lot more respect on the fact that he was able to pull that off, going through like his own shit. And, he had like a lot of shit personally, and he still stayed in gimmick to the point where I think they was like kind of annoying some of the him and Christian was kind of annoying some of the castmates because they were like in character all the time. So I like Joker is my favorite Batman villain. Always has been. So convince me that you're crazy. Convince me that you're supposed to be Batman's greatest foe. And he did. And I did like in regards to Batman straddling the middle of it. Like, I know I have to save Gotham, but I also kind of don't I want to have a life, which was kind of what he was trying to imply with Rachel before she died. And I liked that aspect. Like, it was like an eternal fight going on between Bruce and Batman, which is what she kind of said, that I don't think you're ready to leave him just yet.
Right.
And he wasn't, clearly. And so I like that aspect of it. Like, we had like the Joker showing that anybody can kind of fall from grace if necessary, which is what he kind of did with Harvey Dent. And I like that part of number 2. And then again, Batman's kind of internal struggles of what he needed to do as a person. So that's, and then Joker, of course, just is like the icing on the cake for me. So that's one. I like the first one second because I did like the storytelling aspect. Him, even the little Easter egg when he got like put in jail in the beginning, and it was like, you don't know whose stuff this is, and it was his stuff. It's like Wayne surprises. I'm like, well, clearly you guys don't know because this is Bruce Wayne right here. But okay, and I like those little like things like letting us know that this is what he's going to do to become Batman. And then again, him figuring out like the car when he was like I thought the whole armor tank thing made a lot of sense
Yeah.
Like that mad shit happened in Gotham. This is probably the perfect car for you, dude. Like, you gotta you need to break through some shit. That was like the perfect car. So I like that. I like the whole like even when Alfred was kind of telling him like, I don't know if you're like realizing what you're getting yourself into with like mentally, which I don't think he realized that until the end of the second one. So I liked all of that. I liked the intros again. I thought Scarecrow was a very interesting choice to start off with since we never really got him in the movie before. So that was interesting. As I said, the third one really just went down because once I realized that was what Bane's purpose was, I was just over it because I was just like, you dead. Then messed up this whole city and blew up a football field for some woman who didn't even like you like that. Like,
I think the only gripe about
it's never that serious. Like nobody's anything is ever that serious for those type of shenanigans, and that irritated my soul. And so because of that, while there was parts I did like in 3, like Commissioner Gordon realizing that was Bruce Wayne, like when he kind of made the reference to what he said to him when he was a kid. And I was like, okay, that's a nice little homage to the first movie. And I like that. Or like the little thing where we might have gotten Robin or Nightwing, whatever. I like those little things, but I really hated like the fact that not only he had to take the brunt of that for 8 years of people thinking he committed a crime he didn't, but then like it's like, bro, you didn't cause all this chaos for a woman who did paid you no mind. Like this is not like this is the worst case of friend zone and this shit that I don't really believe that exists, but this is the worst case of this. Like I'm not doing all this for no one. Nobody's anything is that great for me to be doing these type of crimes. No. So that's 3 for that very reason. So yeah, that's how. So we all have really different answers, I guess.
It's just I don't know. Like the reason why I love 1 too because it shows how Batman is a really good detective, and I felt they lost that in the next 2 movies. Because there's no way you're gonna interrogate Joker. Yeah, I felt like Joker was so smart in this movie that he shouldn't be able to joke around with Batman enough. So the fact that he's beating up Joker and asking where are they? Joker should have left out a little bit of hint to make Batman realize, oh, I know where they are now. And Joker like, wait, no, But to show like, and then maybe that's why I like 1 more because it showed that Batman wasn't also with the detective. He figured out where the chemicals were going, all that stuff. He knows where the stuff is. Oh, I know this remedy. So the fact that we didn't get that much in the second too is like, okay, you're just showing Batman saying that he's gadget friendly, But in 1, we showed that he was actually able to create his own gadgets, also be a detective. So. Okay. And 2, you didn't get much of that. He was just beating the hell out of Joker for answers, which is also fine too. I get it, but you're also a freaking detective. Figure stuff out. Which I hope, and I guess we'll talk a little bit about it. Is hopefully in the next movie of the Batman, Riddler, which is amazing, we get to see Batman be a really good detective outside of a really good ass kicker. And I'm cool with gadgets. I'm smart. Well, smart, but also I'm rich. Whatever.
Oh no, you just reminded me. I forgot that was even going to be a thing.
So yes, I guess we can kind of end it on that. What are you guys' thoughts on new Batman, Robert Pattinson, and the source material behind it?
I don't know that much. You lost me at Twilight Vampire. It goes back to my Bane issue. Like, what the shit? Like,
I mean, if we're playing year 1, which I'm fine with year 1, I like the book year 1. Technically, this is late year 1, leading up to, I guess, almost year 2. So we get to see a very young Bruce who probably just came out of Yale or whatever, and because we got that in the Batman.
Changed my mind on it because like right as soon as they said Robert Pattinson, I said. So brief me on this. Maybe I won't hate it as much.
So the thing what I tell people about Robert Pattinson is this: if you're basing it only on Twilight, you wouldn't like it or like his acting. But I would say, as I think I'm
basing it on what Batman is. Batman's supposed to.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like I've actually watched quite a few Robert Pattinson movies just to kind of see what, and he surprisingly is actually a pretty solid actor. And I think I even said this to Max earlier when I was saying, like, I got to read Edward's POV in the book the author wrote for Twilight. So technically, he actually played Edward correctly. Edward was really annoying. He was really like clingy.
I'm fine. It's all aesthetic for me. That's all it is.
No, I guess because he's kind of like I
Don't be
feel like
this, bro. You just got to give it a chance.
yeah, that's like granted the first time I was like, but then
I gave Retribution a chance on Monday Night Raw for like a year. I'm still waiting on that payoff. So,
I don't mind.
It surprised me. We'll see. Like he might the little clip of him kicking the guy's ass. I was like, oh, okay, I'm okay with that. Like he was kicking the guy's ass, like a lot of forcefulness, and I was okay with that. Like Batman's supposed to be very aggressive, so I feel like this is the most violent I've seen Batman in movie wise. Like, all right. I feel like the little clip we saw of like him beating up the criminal in that scene, I was like, shit, I don't think any Batman did all of this. Like, it was a lot of anger up in those punches. So
I feel like there's going to be a good one. I feel like there's going to be a decent one, especially it's supposed to be very gritty and dark, and he's just learning about who he is. So you can see like a lot of trials and tribulations of this Batman. And I just want a really good detective story Batman at this point. You know, not enough with the gadgets and the fighting. Like, give me some legit Silence of the Lambs type shit where you have to learn or discover. Like,
see, but Batman didn't start off being a great detective. You got to get there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want him to learn that. Like, I want him to learn to be a detective. And hopefully we get that in year one, because Riddler's a really good type of character where he's not about the fighting and all that stuff. A lot of mind games. Be that, you know. Yeah. And that's going to be cool. And apparently we're supposed to get a lot of villains in this one. So a lot of teaser villains. Apparently Penguin is in this, which is dope. I think that's the guy in the car. You know, like, oh, who is this guy? Like, you know.
See, that's the only thing I don't want to don't just throw villains in just because. That's when I'll like.
If it's supposed to be a spinoff to the next one, I don't mind.
Yeah, if we get it at the end, maybe. I'm okay with that. If it's like on the first thing and I'm like, this is more movies and we already got 5 villains, I would know I'm going to tune out of that because it's like, we know they exist, but this is literally Batman's first year. Let's not do shenanigans. Like, let's not do that. We're all of a sudden it's like all these big villains and everybody like no. Let's.
But I know like
just the Riddler, and I think in regards to making him think, that's the perfect villain.
Mm-hmm. Because I know like in year one, Batman being the costume will unlock a lot of villains and all that stuff. So, because to have the common villain as a Penguin who's a crime lord, you know, who helps the gang members get guns. All right, I understand that. Then you have a guy like Riddler. All right, that's cool. And, you know, you have your typical Catwoman's in this too. So those three alone should be enough to tell how messed up Gotham was year one. Because year one, everything is crazy. You need somebody to stop all this stuff that's happening. Right. So you unlock that and bring out Batman and hopefully understand, you know, because he knows how to fight. I'm guessing he just came back from whatever, I guess Ra's al Ghul's studio or whatnot. So I don't know. I'm excited for this one. So year one, he gets to learn how to be Batman. That's cool.
All right, so Batman Begins 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see who the parents are in this one. That's gonna be awesome.
I'm hoping. See, that's the thing. I hate that. I get it, but it's like, can we stop rehashing the story? I feel like we know. It's why I was so glad with like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Like we knew Uncle Ben died, but they didn't show it, and I was perfectly fine with that because it's like, can we not show Uncle
really?
Ben? If Uncle Ben died one more time, like
I'm trying to really die.
Oh my God! Stop.
Might be another multiverse. Like he's maybe not Uncle Ben. Maybe he's actually working for Shield, or maybe he's Hydra for the first time. Go to another multiverse. He's gonna go to Toby's area.
Oh my God! But yeah, so let's see. But now I'm giving you guys the floor. Say what you guys they can follow you on and what you guys got coming up.
Right on. So you can follow me at Korey Konstantine on Instagram, Konstantine225 on Twitter. What do I have coming up? I have Pro Wrestling 225 at the end of the month in Plaquemine, Louisiana, October 30th. And then I'm going to be doing a bit of a run when it comes to Metroplex Wrestling in Dallas. I'll be there the 21st, 28th, and then the next 2 weekends. Don't make me lie on the actual dates. Saturday. So
Saturday.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yes. And that might wrap up my calendar because not a lot of people run in December. But yeah, so that's the majority of what I'm doing now. I'm getting into making wrestling gear. So I've got a few of those projects. So I'll probably be launching an Instagram for that. Probably call it Konstantine Creations. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, that's the majority of what I got.
Real quick, is Konstantine the last name of yours because you like the DC character Konstantine, or that's just your legit last name? Or
if we're gonna do a quick origin story like Batman Begins, I was formerly under a different name. A trainer of mine said, "Yeah, I hate that name. Change it." A lot of my gear had K's on it already.
Oh God.
So then I was like, "All right, what's a good strong last name? I like, mythology, Roman Empire type stuff. Konstantine, we'll go with that." And I was also kind of doing like a good versus evil, almost like a Two-Face kind of inspiration kind of thing. So it just all kind of fed in, and I was like, "Oh, this is even better because now I can link it to the angels and demons type thing with Konstantine." And
okay,
here we are.
I dig it.
If we're gonna go back full circle, a lot of the character that I've been doing the last 6-7 years was heavily inspired by Heath Ledger's Joker, which is how this podcast came to be, actually.
Nice. You told me. Yeah.
That's
what's up. I dig it. You can check me out at Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling on YouTube, XVPW. I have 3 big shows coming up for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and January 2nd called the Intercontinental Grand Prix Cup Tournament. Check that out. XVPW is on Twitter.
Tell me about this while I got you on here. Tell me about it. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling?
Yeah.
Okay, so Extreme XVPW is basically, I would call it basically a promo federation where people cut their promos and we handle the wrestling in the 2K engine. And yeah, basically that's it, man. That's
Sweet.
the gist of it. I'm the promoter, the booker. Brian Pillman Jr. is my XVPW YouTube champion. He currently cuts promos for me, and we handle he doesn't legitimately wrestle, but we book how the match is going to play out and etc. Outside of that, Jacob Fatu from Major League Wrestling, who's a former MLW champion right now. Shout out to Hammerstone, Hulk Hogan 2.0. Jacob Fatu is also an XVPW. I do have a couple signees coming up. One of them is Myron Reed from also MLW, so he'll be wrestling soon in Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling. So I have a couple big names to get to help promote the channel, the promotion. Outside of that, I also have homemade guys that are XVPW originals and etc. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it, man. You cut promos. If you're an indie guy and who really wants to work under a promo game and all that stuff, come to Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling. That's pretty cool. And if you love to see your character in 2K, hey, you get some dream matches happening.
I'll call you.
I no lie, a lot of people are very creative with their promos. If they want to test stuff out and all that stuff, and hey, if it doesn't work in the promotion you're at right now, make it happen XVPW, and you'll be amazed about these guys' promos. Like they legit take their DSLRs, put in someplace, think of angles, be creative with it. They have Spielberg out the ass with this one, man.
Gotta set my game up.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling, man. It's
Sweet.
not alternative, it's the extreme alternative. You like that, right? That's pretty cool. That's pretty
good plug.
There's a lot of alternatives out there, but we're the extreme alternative.
Extreme. Got it.
And as for me, check me on In Cat We Trust on YouTube. I am on YouTube, Twitch, which should be, I believe November we discussed I should be doing Twitch streams with Medusa, also Alondra Blaze. So
Nice.
that's gonna be cool. Yeah, that was a whole like weird thing. We like the same kind of video games, so that should be cool. So check that out in November. And then I just did an interview with her for Women's Wrestling Talk 2-3 days ago, so that is on Fight TV, so check that out. I have a couple more interviews. I just did wrestler Billy Starks. She's super young but super like talented and stuff, so she's the next interview that will be uploaded. And then Rain Cruz, who did the SummerSlam intro and the pre-show, and she was very nice as well. So those are my next interviews. So check that out and catch me on Instagram and Twitter or In Cat We Trust. E is a 3. And that's pretty much it. I'm like so like crazy. It's busy now. I got too much stuff I'm doing. But
I have one question to ask you before you end this off. What's one question? Why so serious?
oh my, stop. I'm sitting here thinking you about to ask me a legit question too. You know what? Stop.
What? All right, so
Serious. We've all been smiling this entire time.
all right. So all right. Just to be very serious right now. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Sorry.
All right,
this
Lance,
is-
do it out.
So this is correct. You want to know how I got these scars?
Stop. Stop.
Oh boy.
Stop it. Oh my God, stop. But I want to thank you both for recording this with me. I know this literally started from the interview we had when we was like, we got to make this happen. And some people say stuff, so I wasn't sure. But I was like, oh, you want to do it? We definitely should get this done. So,
Well,
thank
you know what?
so
It's
much.
pretty easy though. It's pretty easy to do this podcast. You know why? We killed the Batman.
Okay, so
Wrap this up. Take it home.
So again, thank you guys so much for joining me on this podcast. I will have everybody's social media links in the description, so follow, check them out. And that is it. Until next time, guys.
Korey, you know what? A little fight in you. I like that.